Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of SVD Hangs Out and Does Stuff. I guess we're just since Games is not here, and obviously Hades is also absent. We're just gonna sit around or hang around and do some bullshit. Well, we're not gonna do bullshit. Well, you know what I mean. We're just gonna hang out and chat with y'all, answer some questions, whatever you can post in the chat here on Twitch, or I'm sure I'll try to keep my general chat open in the Discord if that's where you would prefer to leave a question mark. A question, not a question mark.
Please post all question marks in general chat.
It's cool.
You could just post question marks. It probably won't be very helpful for anything we're doing. But yeah, in the meantime, while we're waiting for questions to come in, or at some point during this stream, I guess, we're going to do a tier list with the various cast of Night City, because I have 1 million NPCs, and we're going to do a tier list on them. I don't really have like any metric we're grading them on, so I think we just put them wherever feels right.
I think this is going to cause some fights. Like,
Yeah, it might.
Good. Let's be a little edgy. I also have a big gulp here. Edgy with our own NPCs, so there's really just the lowest risk possible, I think. Anyway, man, what a great episode last episode was. I know I talked about this in my blog post, but I had
Which,
such
by the
a
way,
good
if
time
you guys
with
haven't
them.
read, go to patreon.com/savesworstdeath and read Blank's latest blog post.
Yes, go there. I wish if I was thinking ahead, I would have had a link to it. But I was going to... Huh?
I can grab that.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks. I was going to say, oh shit, now I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? I had such a great time with the last episode. It was a lot of fun. I was excited to see, our heroes get a little taste of some real success, I feel like, in the last episode. And also, if you didn't catch up with it, that would be the end of our season 4. Not that, seasons have any real meaning. I'm not changing the overlay. I pay good money for this overlay, and I like it a lot, so it's sticking around for a while. I also like the new music we got. So nothing is really changing, except for I think this is a good time to quote unquote end the season, I suppose. I wasn't even going to do seasons when we started this. This is Game's idea, so I'm just going with it.
Also, if you guys haven't figured it out, this episode will be heavily spoilered, or heavy. It's a heavy spoiler.
That is what
episode,
I was going to say.
So...
Yes, thank you.
There you go.
Thanks. Yeah. That is what I was going to say. Lots of spoilers in this episode, or in this
chat.
Yeah, stream, I guess.
Stream, yeah.
Lots and lots and lots of spoilers. And to Checkers, or Ada and Giphy, I apologize. We're going to do a tier list of NPCs you probably have never seen or met ever. Do your best. We'll try to explain who they are maybe a little bit. And then you can weigh in with your thoughts of where they should be rated.
I'll just pretend I know what you're talking about. Make stuff up like I always do.
That'll be perfect.
You're just being Quinn. It's good.
Right?
Anyway. So I guess we could. Do we have any questions at all at this point? I don't think so.
I
from the
think
chat.
there were some from last time that didn't get asked, so let me
let's go answer those.
jump to that real quick when I can find where they are. There we go. I feel like some of these we did answer and some we didn't.
You can answer again. I don't mind. I'll probably say something completely different. Maybe.
What does Rogue think of Gojira? Alternatively, what do other canon heavy hitters think of them?
I did answer that.
No,
She was impressed by your team cohesion. At least initially. Less impressed after the meeting with Moxie.
But is that with Gojira or just Moxie?
You're the team leader.
No, she thinks Wraith is the team leader because Desiree set that up and no one corrected that.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
So just less than impressed with Moxie.
That's fair. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And what was the second part of that question?
What do other canon heavy hitters think of them?
Well, I guess it depends on which one we're talking about. Who's a heavy hitter? Who do you consider pawns? Okay, who asked this question?
Heroic, and they're not in chat.
Damn
so...
it. Heroic, why aren't you here? Okay. Well, I would consider Pons and Rex probably the biggest heavy hitters of the team, or at least team adjacent. I guess Cammy too, technically.
He does say canon heavy hitters, and I'm wondering, since Rogue is like universe canon.
Oh, canon. Oh, I don't see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I don't really pay a lot of attention to the NPC profiles that they have made for various people. I know Rogue, obviously, she was in 2020, and then in the video game had a heavy thing. Obviously, Johnny Silverhand is dead.
But I would like to think that Johnny
important ones.
Silverhands would be jealous of Wraith. That's my personal opinion.
Jealous? I don't think.
No,
jealous.
I don't think he'd be jealous.
No.
He wants to be like him.
Canon heavy hit. Who else is a big heavy hitter? I suppose that I would need to address. I guess maybe wood chipper or.
I was gonna say, what is Molly Anderson?
The
Aw.
She probably thought you were a bitch before she died.
Yeah. 100%. No, that's a gray area because that didn't actually happen.
Yeah, but how did you get the car for the thing then? For the video?
They left it after they vandalized it.
Oh, you picked it up after
They left it on the dash with the pack of gum on her car.
Oh, okay, but that didn't happen. They wouldn't have vandalized your car.
I think that still happened.
So they vandalized your car for doing nothing?
Maybe she brushed up against the kids and thought they were rude. She definitely didn't steal from kids though. Like that I can say with absolute certainty. It did not happen.
That first episode is such a funny.
Vandalizing her car for
I actually like that
reason.
What? Go ahead.
I can see them vandalizing her car for no reason.
Yeah, they might have.
Just
who knows?
being
Who cares?
punks, yeah.
I actually like that the first episode is just this kind of not canon type thing. We shouldn't actually clarify. So to clarify, we don't know how she got the car, but she had the car in the later canon episodes.
Well, it's not that big a deal because the car got wrecked instantly anyway.
I'm talking about the toy car.
Oh, the toy car. She could have found it in the rubble. Really?
True. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if other canon.
She might have found it in the rubble. The world may never know what the first episode actually was in canon. We do know for certain that the building blew up, and it was Newsat who was responsible.
Yep.
Okay. Next question.
Your character survives Shades of Scarlet and are kicking around Night City in 2077.
Ooh,
What kind of cameo or role do they play in V's story?
that's a good question. There you go. Nuke says the hand was gripping the toy car when Moxie found the hand.
One was gripping a toy car, the other one was gripping the briefcase.
Yeah. So go ahead. Let's start with Checkers. What would you survive Shades of Scarlet? 2077 rolls around. You'd be however old.
This is complicated as I don't actually know the story of 2077.
Oh, that might be a problem.
Yeah.
Well,
what would she be doing in?
He's an edge runner.
30,
They're the main character. They're an edge runner. You're what? 30 years older?
Yeah.
There you go. You're a 30-year older tech. Are you still a
Spoilers
tech?
for 2077, by the way. If we say anything just in advance.
I can't imagine Checkers ever being anything but a tech. So yes, she's still a tech.
Okay.
In Night City.
I mean, rose-colored lenses. She's probably with Colt and the Nomads.
Okay. I think that's fair.
So, make your guesses from that, because honestly, I really want to play 2077. I am fucking terrible at it. So other than the blank coming down or upstairs screaming in a rage about whatever just happened that emotionally devastated him, I don't actually know the plot of the game.
I had to take some pretty significant breaks after certain parts in that game.
Yeah.
It's super intense.
Yeah, there are moments that are really
It's just
rough.
like, holy fuck.
Yeah. He's come upstairs and just stood in like the middle of the entryway staring for like 5 minutes before telling me that game is really intense and then walking away. So,
That tracks, yeah.
Yep. Yep. Okay, Quinn.
All right. In 2077, I would like to think that Quinn has settled down in Night City. He's still a cop, but Jenkins is his partner, and they're in the streets fighting crime together.
Spin-off series. Spin-off series.
Yeah. That's what Quinn is doing. He's keeping Night City safe. And yeah.
From
So
all
would
the vampires.
So would occasionally run into Quinn and Jenkins during those little like NCPD missions.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Because that is the latter part of the question: is what role do they play in V's story, or cameo? So I think like as a cameo, Quinn and Jenkins have this little NCPD.
Yeah. I would like to think that Quinn would have been the cop at the beginning of the game where they first arrest V and the dude first stealing the car.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if you took the street rat beginning?
You did street rat.
Yeah. I want to think that's
Nice.
what that's the kind of cop like.
It would have been amazing to see Quinn and Jenkins there at that point.
Right?
Yeah.
That conversation would go so differently.
Yes.
Yeah. Love it. Okay, Moxie.
What would Moxie be doing? If she somehow survives is a real big thing. Moxie probably, as I don't know, cameo, either be investigating some story and give V a gig, or like maybe be one of Regina's contacts of hit this person up.
Oh,
Because she turned media, she was solo turned media. So something to that effect, or I don't know, maybe she's still hanging out in the nook.
that'd be
Hard to
cool.
say. Depends on what happens to the other people in her life, would depend on where Moxie is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. I like it.
What about Cammy?
Mm, hmm.
She would only be in the scenes that happen after noon.
No,
Yes,
Would have been
100%.
earlier.
Yeah, she might be that person you go to pick up the T-Bug gives you a free program when you're doing the legwork for the first mission. She might be the person that you pick up the program from.
The program from?
Yeah,
I could see her. I could see her in that role.
just running this shop in the middle of the what I call in my world Circle Plaza or Sakuru Plaza.
I would love to see Cammy like own a bar. Like,
I was gonna say,
think
you
that
know
would be
what?
awesome.
No, Cammy and Moxie have opened some ELO type bar.
Oh, there we go.
That would be awesome. I like that.
That'd be awesome. Cammy's interacts would be time locked. Nice. The lag
Yeah.
switch. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, it only opens if it's noon or later.
Just has
Okay.
a giant instead of a closed sign, it just says "fuck off."
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
And the last pre-written question I have, again, if you guys have any questions throughout this, please ask them in chat.
Yeah, definitely.
How would you make your character in a D&D or D&D adjacent setting, generally speaking, race, class, subclass, background? And are there any settings or games you've already translated your character to?
Oh.
I would say video game wise, I played Moxie in Mass Effect. That was really fun. I also played her in Fallout 4, and when I play Moxie, she makes decisions Jess wouldn't. So that's really interesting.
Nice.
I have not translated checkers to anything. But D&D, she'd be a dwarf, hands down.
Nice.
And I mean, she'd probably end up being an artisan of some kind.
Okay.
You know, but I could see her going a little rogue. So.
Okay. That makes sense.
Mm.
What about Quinn?
Oh, half orc barbarian all the way.
As if there was another
Yeah.
option.
Yeah, that's fair.
You,
As
you
for-
would
Go
be
ahead.
able to do anything else.
I'll do. So to start, I typically don't like transfer any character anywhere else. As one might be able to tell, I have no issue with creating new characters at all, unless I'm playing, in which case I tend to play one type and they're usually hateable. But if I'm a GM, I'm good at making them somewhat lovable generally. So
Eventually.
I haven't like translated anyone, but if I were to, I guess Cammy would be a wizard, I guess. Maybe more of a sorcerer. Because she tends to be a little bit more charismatic and diplomatic than a wizard might be.
Yeah, I don't really see her studying spell books.
She's
Yeah.
studying right now in the campaign. But
I feel though if she had a choice, she'd rather it be inherent than something she had to study.
that's probably true. Moxie is the only shepherd I know that didn't punch the reporter.
She didn't.
Nice.
Still ruined her image though. It's just great.
Good. That fucking reporter.
Yep. It didn't punch her.
And then Rex, I guess, would probably be a fighter, I would think. Yeah.
Not a bard.
No, certainly not a bard. When have you ever seen him sing?
Bards can do more than sing. You
But
don't
that's
have to
their
sing to
their
be a
their main
bard.
thing is music.
Right, but
He could
they
play
can
an
do music
instrument. He
elsewhere.
doesn't have to sing. You could be a dancer bard as long as it's
When have you seen him dance?
at the club. Moxie's birthday. He was the
Okay.
best dancer out of all of us.
True, but I wouldn't say that's like a defining characteristic of Rex.
I'm just saying bards are very charismatic. He could have been a bard.
I
that
see him
charismatic?
multi-classing.
And he's
as
also he's kind of falls into that because he had a Rex breaks hearts persona in theory before him and Moxie hooked up.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Bards are kind of known for that.
Yeah.
See, I see him as kind of a multi-class fighter rogue.
I could see him
Fighter
as a
rogue.
rogue.
Yeah.
Rogues
I
are
just
also
don't
have to
see
be very
Bard. I'm
charismatic.
sorry. I know that they
That's fine.
bards can technically do other things, guys. It's just none of those seem to make sense for Rex.
No, Wraith would be the bard. Wraith
Yeah.
would be the
Clearly.
bard.
Right? Yeah, that's definitely.
No questions asked there.
Rex isn't giving like amazing speeches or telling jokes.
No.
I have no idea what class Moxie would be.
Yeah, there's no really reporter class in
Paladin. Like
Paladin.
they in the new D&Ds, like the 2014 and 2024, have like, or is it 2025? Anyway, the paladins like have the different paths you go down. So Path of Vengeance is I think one of them.
Vengeance?
I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
too
Vengeance
familiar.
Paladin exists.
Yeah, Vengeance Paladin is I think what Moxie would be.
To be fair, I think it'd be really cool for her to be a ranger and have a Komodo dragon companion that was Vim adjacent.
That would be her backstory. If she was a ranger.
That is a backstory option, yeah.
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 Oh, here's a question that came in. What is something that happened during a session that you all didn't expect? Oh my god. I'm bad with this question because I don't know. Every session it feels like I don't know what the fuck to expect.
I
I
will
feel
say
like Wraith opening his mouth is
yeah.
just unexpected.
Generally, that's
period.
a
My
great part.
my big one that I remember is when Wraith decided to talk to 8-Ball and just fucking screamed at him.
Oh yeah. Well,
Like,
he didn't
I
scream
was-
at him.
Well, he did because
he
he started very
intimidated him.
seriously, and then he yelled, and I wasn't
true.
expecting because Wraith is never, I think at that point had never been like super confrontational, and that really surprised me.
Yeah, I can see that.
But again, anytime Wraith opens his mouth is
Yeah,
nothing I'm going to expect, but that was a moment that still stands out to me.
Wraith is our unknown quantity.
Yes.
Definitely our wild card. Well, Quinn is, pretty up there.
Mm.
Quinn is up there.
I don't know. He only does things that make sense.
to him. The rest of us
yeah.
cannot predict
Well-
what makes sense to him.
Because
No.
I would say Moxie has a better understanding of Quinn than she does with Raid.
Yeah.
And I can say, at the very least, Moxie would trust Quinn not to jump off a 3-story building. So, in Wildcard Land,
True.
that was also a thing that I wasn't expecting, was someone to jump off a 3rd-story balcony.
I think it was, yeah. Was it 2? I think it was 2. But you could be right. I can't remember. It's too long ago. But that was surprising.
Yeah.
Another thing. There's so many things that I can find surprising. What are some more recent ones? It's not recent, but one that comes to mind is the oh god, what is it? It's the thing with Wraith trying to sabotage the bullet mission. It was massive. And then he divulged the reason, which I didn't know even about when he said it. I was just like, oh shit, that's kind of awesome.
I think it was, we were confused about, oh, is that what he was trying to? Oh, that's why?
Oh, you got their new case? Yeah, I was like, damn, that's fucked up, but also great. So, that definitely threw me through a loop. I wasn't even sure what to do on my end because I was like, but I want to do this mission for money, but I'm not sure how this is going to work now. Yeah, things are becoming a little irreconcilable. But we managed to get through it. What was I was telling you about something that you did that surprised me, Jess.
Me?
Yeah, just the other day. What were we talking about?
Oh man, dude.
Oh god, I can't.
When Blake and I chat, we go off on many tangents.
Oh my god.
And
so many
it's,
tangents.
yeah, it's real bad trying to get back on track. So it could have been
Anything.
anything. Oh, when I started doing research into Jade's like family and stuff.
Yes, when you started looking into Jade and Mary's backstory, like the articles that they had produced at one point, that caught me off guard, and I had no idea what to say, and I made up a few things on the spot that didn't really lead anywhere. But that surprised me. Checker selling out her family surprised me. I wasn't
Checker
expecting
selling out
that.
her family to help Moxie surprised me.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't read the backstory. She was all set up to sell her family out, like just no questions asked. It's in the backstory, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, she did that!" And I'm like, "Yeah, because I wrote her that way." Like,
Well,
that's what
I
it
did
was,
read the
you
backstory.
know?
That's how I knew about your family.
I know.
And that's how I integrated all that. But I guess I expected, maybe even a little bit more tie.
I mean, that's entirely fair, but it's written into the backstory that she feels just as betrayed by her family as everyone else does.
Fair enough.
I think
So.
for me it was shocking because I don't think I've ever read Juribics. I don't think I have access to your
Yeah.
website.
No, I don't.
You probably
but
don't, but
while talking to Checkers in that moment, she was her normal Checker self, which is I can't make a decision, where it's like my family betrayed me, but they're still my family, you know, and of course I love them. So she's like, she doesn't understand, like, my family never got me, but I do still love them, but they betrayed us and their family, but I do still care. So, like, Moxie didn't know where she landed, but Checkers and Moxie do not get along, and especially then, they did not get along. So she's like, why would you sell out your family? And especially for Moxie, who is so pro-family, selling them out to help someone you don't like made no sense to her.
and that's entirely fair.
And that shocked me as a player because I was like, I'm surprised Checkers decided to make this move.
Well, I mean, part of why she was willing to make the move is because her only information was like 3 years outdated.
And she did mention that.
Yeah.
So, it's just one of those things, and it's part of me and it's part of Checkers in I don't fucking know what to do. Okay, I'm gonna make a decision and stick to it, period.
Okay.
And
Makes
so,
sense.
that's where it goes when I'm making decisions with her. And I mean that is kind of how I do it anyway. But it's just it was funny to me that you were all so shocked. I get Moxie's perspective. Like, totally get why it would be so foreign to her and like, what the fuck? But at the same time, Checkers was at the time trying so desperately to be friends with Moxie.
Yeah.
That's what I think she ended up sliding on, was it was old information and Checkers was trying really hard to patch this.
Mm-hmm.
Or was her best guess, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Still, I mean, it still surprised me at the time. It's not to like say it was a bad decision. It was just
No.
It was still a shocking choice that you didn't land there. That Moxie's approval or that moment was more important.
Yeah.
and then more recently, Quinn accepting Rex's deal
Oh god.
to essentially trade Veronica for clout, I suppose, for an in with this group.
I don't get that's why that's unexpected for Quinn. I mean, Quinn has been wanting to kidnap somebody pretty much from the beginning. I think it was more unexpected that Rex was okay with it. As close as the ties he has with the group, that's what I found unexpected.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, yeah, that made total sense to me.
Yeah.
Another thing I found really unexpected was you, Blank. When I texted Jenkins at the end, I was like expecting it to be like a quick like throwaway thing where I'm just texting him and he's gonna respond something. I did not expect it to be like a whole like text message dialogue, like 20 minutes conversation while Jenkins tries to rehabilitate Quinn. That was completely unexpected for me.
Oh, good. Well, at least I can throw you guys through a loop sometimes as well.
Very much so.
We do need a shirt with Quinn's picture that says, "I am the police."
Speaking of which, we do have a question from Patient Zero. Kind of related to this. Jenkins is Quinn's Jiminy Cricket. What Disney/fairy tale character analog relationship do you think your characters have? So clearly, Quinn and Pinocchio.
Yeah.
I really like that analogy for Quinn as Pinocchio because I mean he really wants to do the right thing, but he's somewhat naive. He doesn't really understand, but he doesn't necessarily understand what he does is wrong. He just doesn't. He's an instinctual creature. He does things based off of what he grew up learning and what he feels is what he should do.
Yeah,
but
makes sense.
Oh, speaking of, and also when Queen of Therapy, he'll turn to a real boy. But before I forget that, something that shocked me was when Quinn decapitated.
Yeah.
Those people.
Yeah.
That
I was like,
was
holy
not
shit.
expecting. The fight, yes. The decapitation, no.
Yeah, that was. Speaking of
Out of nowhere.
decapitations, Moxie also decapitating Dracul caught me off guard too.
I love that choice personally.
Wait, so I wasn't the first one to do a decapitation?
No,
No.
you weren't.
No.
And Moxie was giving me a hard time for it, or giving Quinn a hard time for it.
I think
No,
she
she
was.
didn't. She was very
No.
calm and very understanding. And then she said to Wraith, "You deal with this because you made him think it was real." And she put that on Wraith.
That was
It is on Wraith.
Yeah.
And
She
you
did not.
missed the part where she carried his head around on her stump because it was the only way to carry it, but it made her look, and at the time she was acting very deranged.
Moxie, okay. So for some context, Moxie was in Cyber Psycho range. She had 5 points of humanity, which means she had 0 empathy. So as
Oh,
I was
wow.
going through this, I was like, oh, how do I make this worse? What can I do to make this worse? How do I lean into Cyber Psycho more? And decapitation made sense because he was a vampire, and obviously the only way to make sure he was dead and his brain couldn't be put somewhere else was to remove his head. And then how do I make that worse was carry it around on the stump of my hand. So
I would like to point out that this happened in like Checker's third encounter with Moxie.
Yeah.
second,
Well, there was the boat mission, and
Yeah.
then we all went to the club, and you got kidnapped, and so I'm counting it as third.
fair enough.
Fair enough. That whole
Second or third, either one works. But there's a reason why Checkers is like, I really want to impress Moxie, but I'm also terrified of her.
She also like streaked her hair back with Dracul's blood and wore his coat to kind of give the appearance of that she would look like Dracul from a distance while toting around his head on her, because they removed her cyber hand, so it was just a stump. So she
Oh,
was
yeah.
wearing his head there, and she put blood in her. She was fucking psycho.
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, that
she,
explains more why Moxie is scared of Quinn going Cyber Psycho, because she has firsthand experience.
exactly.
Mhm.
So that makes a lot more sense to me now.
Yeah. So she saw
So
that
we had half a
whole
fuck left. I don't
moment.
think Moxie had any fucks left.
No.
True. The whole thing in the Jackal's Lantern caught me as a listener. Yeah, that actually Wraith run. That's another thing that surprised me. Wraith running in, all Rambo style, caught me by surprise too. I wasn't sure what to do with it. I didn't know what he was really attempting to do with his audience either at that time. I mean, I knew a little bit, but I didn't understand the extent that he wanted their assistance as a distraction, I suppose. So I did the best I could and caught him and took him captive as well. But it did lead to first like a great moment, yeah, with Dracul and Wraith having the rocker boy off in the cage match. That was a cool scene.
I gotta say, Wraith doing anything like insane is not unexpected. It's the times when he actually like has a well thought out, rational plan. That's when I find it unexpected.
That
You know,
you
that's
know what?
fair.
That's when Moxie freaks out, was whenever he's being calm and agreeable. She's like, why? Why are
Yeah.
you being calm and agreeable?
I am
going
highly
on here?
suspect of this.
Yeah.
It's like when my puppy's being too quiet, I know he's up to something wrong.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy. So one thing that we wanted to do, I suppose, is
Oh, hang on. We didn't actually answer Patient's question because I
Yeah.
distracted.
yes.
So
We didn't
Patient's
answer
question
anything.
was still like,
Oh, yeah, go
what
ahead, go
Disney
for
fairy
it,
tale
sorry.
character analog relationship do you think your characters have?
Sometimes, occasionally, not very often, but I feel like Deeps and Checkers have the Atlantis, Milo, and the Audrey the Mechanic thing going on. It doesn't work all the time, but every once in a while they click in that, and it's like, okay, yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the reference.
Yes.
What is this from?
Oh my
Atlantis. It's a Disney movie.
Oh. Okay. I'm just not too
Yeah,
familiar with the movie.
I don't know if you've even seen that one, to be honest.
I
Rob.
have seen it, just not a lot.
Look, I made a bridge and it took me like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
That's
I love him.
That for me is Checkers. And then
Okay, I will give you that.
just for her demolition skill, where everyone's like, "Well, how can we do this?" She's just like, "Boom." Done.
Actually, I also see a little bit of him, and like he has the whole scene where he's like, I'd open a flower shop, and I feel like that's something Checkers would absolutely say too. So yeah, I'll give you that.
Disney fairy tale.
I think we could also count non-Disney animated movies.
Yeah, I
If
think
that
Atlantis
helps.
is a non-Disney.
No,
No, this is Disney.
Oh, well, I've been wrong before.
I think pretty much any Muppet movie would qualify for this group.
Well, yes,
I mean, I'll give you that.
100%.
Like, I could see us coming up with a Muppets Take Manhattan style plan. Like,
On that note, I also have to say that in a respectful way, Moxie is very much Miss Piggy in that she doesn't take shit and she flips out when she needs to.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
so would that make Wraith Kermit the Frog? Or no, Rex would be Kermit the Frog, wouldn't he?
Well, I mean, if you're talking romantically, but I do feel like Wraith and Kermit share a lot of tendencies.
No.
In some ways.
Kermit's way too calm for Wraith.
Yeah, I will agree he's way too calm.
Wraith isn't quite animal level, but...
No. Wraith is unpredictable. Wraith is Gonzo. Wraith has to be
Wraith
Gonzo.
is Gonzo, yeah.
Yeah. See, Rex is more the leader than Wraith is. That's why I said him for Kermit, because Rex is really like more
level.
He's more level-headed.
Rex is level-headed, but he's not as timid as I feel like.
Kermit is a peacemaker. That's why I say Wraith.
True.
Because
that's
every
fair.
once in a while he pulls the peacemaker thing.
He's
I can
dual
see Cammy
personality.
being Kermit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, Quinn would be Fozzie. Fozzie the Bear, I think.
That makes
Honestly,
sense.
I think Fozzie was my pick for
Waka.
Checkers.
Oh.
But that's okay.
That's right, yeah.
That's okay. I have no problem sharing, and honestly,
I want to read this. One of these times, I expect Wraith to have one of his crazy plans, and that be the one that everyone agrees with. Possible, I suppose.
So I actually designed Checkers to be Wraith's yes man, because after like watching the first, 30 episodes, I was like, God, Wraith needs a yes man. And I designed Checkers to do that. And the truth is, I can't physically do that in game. I wanted to, but I physically cannot make myself be Wraith's yes man.
Oh. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It's impossible for me.
Plus, Deeps is already kind of his yes man. No offense, Deeps. I love you.
He knows. I like that Newt said that the judges from the Muppet judges are Wraith's angel and demon, telling him what to do.
Yeah.
The crazy old men who are always heckling everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Guys.
Best characters. All right. I'm going to go to this tier list thing, and we should fill out some of these while we're here.
I will continue to think on a fairy tale analog character thing.
Okay. If you have any suggestions, put them in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got tier lists. We're rating NPCs. There's really no criteria. It's kind of wherever we think they fit. We have more than NPCs. I do have the players.
For this.
Maybe we'll do the players last, or filter them in at certain points. But so for the first up,
you should at least say what the tiers are and like what's top tier, what's lower.
Oh, okay. So we have S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. I guess S tier is... Oh god, now we got to think of some criteria.
No,
I
S
think-
tier is we think they're the best.
Yeah.
D tier is
I
we don't
guess what
care
does the
about them.
best mean?
But the best for what? Because there
Yeah.
are
I
Like-
guess
okay. The best person to impersonate or try to bullshit their way through is definitely Wraith. The best person to have an actual plan that keeps everyone alive, not Wraith.
Yes, but I think that's the point in which we argue about it while we're rating them.
But I need to know what that criteria is.
Why? That's the argument we make. You pick which
Okay.
one you want. You pick.
Overall, just their overall.
Yeah,
Personality?
they're overall
Goodness.
things. Yeah.
Your personal opinion.
Yeah.
This is gonna
Okay.
get bloody.
Oh
This
man,
is I'm excited. All right, so first up we have what's
Moxius G.
I wanna save
Wilder,
that one.
Willy Wonka. Maybe, maybe I'll think
we'll
on that.
We'll do pawns first. Where is pawns on the chart of these
S.
rankings? Pawns is
Fight me.
I
Fight
feel
me.
like wait, A? Did I hear an A?
Yeah, that was me.
I thought this would be a no contest S. Why A?
Because I love pawns like dearly, but in terms of like,
But he won't hug you, and that makes you mad.
well, yeah, but also like what we can do for him and what he can do for us has been significantly damaged in the recent past, and we're still working back up towards that.
Newt agrees that pawns should be an A.
I don't think he's limited to clinic work.
Yeah,
I
I
think he's
mean,
limited to clinic work.
he may not be, but we do limit him to it. We won't take him out we won't ask him to go out, will we?
Moxie has.
Yeah, they've been on like a
Moxie's taking him
coffee
out to
date.
lunch. Yeah.
Okay.
He
don't
was
know,
the one who convinced her to go to therapy when she was cyber psycho because he used dad voice. I mean, granted, she
That's
was
true.
in a fine "I'll do this to prove you wrong" kind of way,
That's
but it
true.
was
I think
because
Pons
he
was-
used dad voice.
I think Pons was probably the most influential to get her into some therapy.
Yeah,
Man, it hurts, but one of
he's
our
S for
audience said
me.
I think S. I agree with S. I mean, I don't know him very
I'm
well,
S
but
too.
he's like
That's
the,
3 against 2.
Okay.
He's the most talked about
S.
character. Like
I'm
I
not
see him
saying I'm
talked about in
right.
the Discord channel all the time. He's never like in any episode, but he's always mentioned in every episode.
That's true.
So
He's actually in very few episodes, but he is always talked about.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's my outsider opinion, not knowing very much about him.
Nice. Perfect. Okay. Next up, we have 8-Ball. Where is 8-Ball go on the NPC tier list?
D?
I would give him a B because he is a good villain. I just fucking hate him.
Okay.
Is he a good villain though?
He is.
Is he?
He has stood in our way. Well, as a whole, from what I know of the episodes, previous episodes that I did listen to, he is complicated in the stood in the way and complicated things. Been an issue we had to solve around, and honestly, I think him finding out that Killjoy was dead was a pretty epic scene.
That was pretty epic.
Was epic scene. I do like Newt's vote of D because he's a douche,
I
Douche.
mean, that's totally fair.
right? I was gonna say C instead of D, so I would bargain for C, but he really only was a problem for one mission, and that was the one at the very beginning. Otherwise, he
Okay.
stayed the fuck away from us, and then we decided to bring the fight to him.
That's true.
In all fairness, like really, that's it.
That's true.
I will.
But it was a really cool scene with Killjoy, but that's not him. So
I will
C?
agree with you on C.
Okay. I think C makes sense. What do you think, Quinn?
I'll go with the crowd and say C.
Okay.
I
You,
was
you
saying
didn't
you've
really
had
know
no
this guy.
mention of 8-Ball since you've started.
Nope, don't know who he is.
Yep, that's fair. He's kind of Rex's competitor, almost directly.
Arch nemesis.
Oh, then
Yeah.
then D. Then I think D. If he's Rex's competitor,
I
as
think we settle
nemesis.
on C.
Well, I changed my vote officially.
Okay. Nice. Okay, and then obviously after 8-Ball, we have to do Killjoy.
Now, Killjoy was a cool villain. I would put her at B.
Yeah. She honestly, she was terrifying. So definitely B.
She deserved a better ending.
She really did. I'm actually
Her death was pretty
really
shitty,
sad
but
about her death. I'm actually super
I would have
sad
liked to
about
see her and
death.
Moxie go toe to toe.
yeah.
That would have been an
See,
epic
I
scene.
can't drop her to a C at the same level as 8-Ball. That's the thing. So if
Oh, she
8-Ball
needs to
drops,
be-
then she could drop. But I think Killjoy.
She didn't
I
die
mean-
off screen. She was on screen when.
Yeah,
well,
she was
did
on screen when she died. Yeah.
She was on screen.
She also killed a member of the crew. So I mean,
True.
I think that
Wait,
should award
who-
her at least B status. Me.
I
She
guess.
killed me.
I guess she did kill you. Yeah. True. Killed ish. Yeah, killed it.
Yeah, sorry, it took what, like two devil's bargains and a
Yeah. Oh, this might be a controversial one, and I don't know how well Checkers or Quinn would know about this one, but y'all who have listened
mostly dead's not
might,
dead.
so we might need some of your help here. But Z is the next one, like Wraith's old bandmate.
Speaking personally,
Z-
having listened to them, I never really liked her, so I'd put her at a C at the most. But
Okay.
that's just
Thank you for the posture check and hydrate.
Oh, thank you. I didn't bring enough soda.
yeah. My drink's all gone.
Oh well.
I liked the. I think Wraith did her dirty.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I think her ending was very impactful,
Think so.
especially for Wraith. But I don't think. I think character-wise she was impactful. I don't think story-wise she was. So I would say C.
I think C is fair. I won't. Put
yeah,
you
that's
on the spot
entirely
here.
fair. I mean, I have very little sympathy for any of his girls, to be honest.
This is
Who didn't Wraith the do dirty is hilarious. Because you're not wrong.
it's true that there's some. Oh, I didn't have pictures for him, but we
Emily
really did.
fucking D. Throw
Yeah,
Emily in D.
We needed
Trash.
Emily. I know. We needed. Okay, let's find a picture for Emily. What about Joss?
Joss doesn't make the list.
Joss doesn't make the list.
The other one.
Here's how I feel about Joss. Joss followed Emily around like a puppy dog. He wasn't actually part of their little whatever relationship was going on there. Emily wanted to be with Wraith, and Joss was just there and was accepting of all of that. And did it suck what happened to him? Yes, absolutely. Did any of us have any strong ties to him? Not at all, because he never talked.
But
Okay, we'll put them both here. This will be their picture
Okay.
at D tier.
The other one, the one that started with G.
G.
Ray's other groupie his name started with G.
Oh,
that died.
Grim.
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 Oh, yeah.
Totally different matter. I liked him.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, let's do Grim. Here, I'll get a picture for him.
Joss sounds like a person trying to say yes in an annoying way.
Yeah. Let's get
Where would you
a
put
good
Grim?
picture for Grim.
I honestly put him in a B.
I'd agree with that. That was
I
my
really
initial
liked
reaction.
him.
Oh, I
His
just like this
death
picture.
was tragic emotionally.
Yeah.
Here's a Grim picture. By the way, I'm just using art off the internet. I don't know who the artists are. I'm sorry. You guys have all done a wonderful job, but what did we say for Grim?
B.
B. B tier. B tier NPC. Okay. I think that's fair. Oh, Grim was a great character. Too bad I am obsessed with killing everybody. Just kidding. Well, am I though? Okay, so next up we have here's a fun one. Dave Wacko.
S.
S? Okay. A.
Newt says A.
A says Newt.
Have you ever met Wacko?
Yeah, wasn't he the guy at the bar in the last episode? Dave Wacko? He was the bartender.
No.
Dave
No.
was not a bartender.
Wasn't that? Who was
Nope.
who was the bartender?
In which bar?
Oh, Swag. Swag was the one who served you drinks in the last
Swag.
episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
We
yeah.
have him coming up.
Yeah.
Wacko was the loud singer that kind of mumbled coherently during the Wraith's parade.
He is
That-
absolutely fucking insane. And he is absolutely fucking insane in kind of the best way.
I thought he was kind of annoying. I'd say B
B.
or C.
Got B, S, D.
Newt says A.
Oh gosh.
I love the energy that Dave brings to a scene because there is no character like him. I like that it's always going to be crazy and wild and push it to the edge, but I don't feel like he's super integral to the story, but I'd be real sad if anything happened to him.
Yeah.
So not S,
Not S.
but
though.
A, because I do get really excited whenever Dave Wacko does make an appearance, so A.
People do
That-
get really excited.
All right,
for some
that's
reason.
2 A's. I'll accept that.
Okay, I think A is a good place for Dave Wacko.
He's
All right,
just one of the iconics for me. You
Yeah.
don't know Shades of Scarlet unless you've met Dave Wacko.
that's true. I actually have 2 pictures of Dave Wacko, unfortunately.
Yeah, so Newt commented, often drugged and drunk and screaming at someone, and that is why A. I think that says it all.
That's fair.
I would
I
say
think it has to
screaming,
be
not
A
like
now, then.
screaming, angry screaming, just like energy screaming.
Yeah.
Do I need to talk at volume 11? No. Am I going to do it anyway? Yes.
Yes.
I mean, that's the best argument I've heard yet for any character ranking. I like that.
I don't know. D for douchebag is probably still my favorite reasoning.
D for
Okay, that
douchebag
is
is really good.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this adjusted. Sorry, I'm like
No, you're good.
getting anal about things. All right. Okay, so
You know.
next up is how about Tim? Tim the stripper.
Wait, Tim the stripper or Tim the joy toy?
Yes.
Same guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
He. Yeah. I
he's
guess he-
useless, but I love him.
Okay.
C, I guess.
C is where I'd put him.
Did he have more than one? He was was featured in a more recent episode.
He's had
well, not featured. He
3
made a
episodes,
cameo.
I believe.
He
Yeah.
did have 3. Although I'm trying to remember what there was when we met him, which is when he talked to Wraith about breaking into
Yeah.
8-Ball's compound. And then I guess the one after that when they took him home.
Yeah.
And then more recently he was one of the dancers in the show.
Yeah. He really
Painted
has
gold.
0 impact, but I do like
yeah.
him. And the scenes with him were kind of fun, so
Yeah.
I'd say C.
C tier. Okay, that's fair. I found this
Oh my
amazing
God.
Shutterstock image.
That is perfect for Tim.
So good. All right, we've got. How about? I have a list, and I'm trying to decide who to do next. Let's do the wizard, the haircutting wizard.
C.
I think that's fair.
For the same reasons as Tim. I love her. I
Yeah.
love the scenes that she's been in. She's not really integral to the story, but it's always very heartwarming when she's there. So
I'd love to give her a B just because I think that she actually has a slightly more impact than Tim ever did. But it's so minimal that I think I have to agree with you on C.
Okay.
although her telling Quinn I don't want him here was pretty great.
Yeah, for that she deserves a D.
Okay, I think C tier seems fine. How about Streamline?
I'm trying to remember if I've actually met Streamline.
That's a great photo. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Was
it
he at
is.
the party? Was he?
No, you fought him.
No, you fought him
We went to his house in Pacifica.
and murdered him.
Oh, him.
Him. Oh, so Giffy, Streamline is Angus's arch nemesis, and he kidnapped Angus, brainwashed him, so Angus would bring the rest of Gojira to his house, where Streamline was laying in wait to kill us all.
Wow. That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a
I mean, he
good,
definitely gets a D for douchebag, but I mean,
definitely
S
gets a D
for
for
like
douchebag.
plan making. Like, I mean, that's
Yeah,
a
I
pretty
think
awesome plan.
Being a proactive villain. I
He
think
also laid an
deserves S.
ambush for us at the start too.
Yeah.
He was a really good villain in terms of like thwarting us and all that kind of stuff.
He blew up your
Yeah.
home and then lured you into his house to kill you.
Yeah.
It didn't
That's like
pan out
Moriarty
the way
level
he wanted,
villainy.
but huh?
Either way,
Moriarty level villainy right there, I think.
Yeah, I think he was awesome. I think he deserves S.
I don't know that he was Moriarty level. I
not
would
that
put him at A, but I will concede to S.
No,
I would put him
see,
at A.
I would agree with A too, because
Okay.
even though he
Moving
was
down.
great,
It's 2
his
versus 2.
his thing was very minimal.
Yeah,
Okay. We'll put him.
great villain, but
Short
not
term.
quite S tier. Yeah,
He's like
yeah,
A
for
and
short
a
term.
half.
A plus.
Okay. That sounds fair.
We can do
Okay.
A for asshole, Newt.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Okay. How about T1K? Let's get some villains done.
Ooh. I don't know. Isn't he in jail right now?
He is
And
in jail.
still
is.
orchestrating
So
stuff? That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
it is pretty awesome. He was also wasn't
Because of the
T1K.
reference. Shut up.
Wasn't he one of the members at the very first episode that Wraith tried to recruit?
Correct.
So he's been there from the start. He was also the one that really tried to bargain with the rocket launcher, which I
Yeah.
think was an epic scene.
He wasn't easy.
He
he
definitely
should be
he's
an
fucked
A.
over the NCPD, which Quinn should probably hear about at some point, one would think. Because he stole a truck of blue glass, cut off the officers' heads, and put them on pikes.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard about that. We went to
Yeah.
that mission. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's why-
Quinn went to the mission because we thought he was in that building, but he wasn't. He was just no, he was.
No, you didn't think he was in the building. You were worried
No,
about
that's
him
right.
capturing
bus.
Void.
We thought he was going to come get the guy we were trying to get. Okay,
Yeah.
I
Yes.
remember stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So him.
And he orchestrated that whole like kidnapping thing from prison. I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
that's pretty badass. I go A.
I think he deserves A.
Yeah, I'll give him A.
Okay. Not
I
B
love B,
because of the
but I will
reference.
accept
I
it.
love the reference. So fuck
Really?
you very much.
Really? That's the picture you picked?
I didn't pick it. It was Jess.
I picked it.
And
Okay.
yeah,
That's what you get.
that's T1K. That's
Okay. Okay.
Okay. We'll do Veronica next. How about
Okay.
Veronica?
Ooh.
Oh.
Veronica was the therapy lady.
Yeah.
Yep.
That Wraith-
Addiction, but yeah.
For Wraith.
that Wraith just ghosted.
Yep.
No,
There
he
seems to
didn't
be a
ghost.
theme
He
for Ray.
actually broke her heart because
Oh, yeah.
he broke up with her at Spicy Pizza and gave her back the necklace when she was trying to figure out if they were supposed to be more serious.
But he ghosted her before that. Like not seriously ghosted, but he like invited her to go on the tour and then just didn't
No, he didn't
tell her
invite
anything.
No, he
Right?
invited her on
No.
the tour. She packed and
No,
was
hold on.
ready, and then he broke up with her before he left.
She invited herself on the tour.
Oh,
She said, I'll go with you if you want. And he said, oh, yeah. And then, I guess, in my head, what I was thinking here is she invited herself on this tour. She's about to make a life-altering decision. He seems so nonchalant about it. Is she really making a choice that makes sense for her? Because she's leaving her entire life for this guy. So, she talked about chasing him, and that's when he broke up with her.
No.
I'd say invited herself, but it was more like invitation, like if he wants her to come along. So what did we say?
none of us have given a number yet.
Yeah.
I want to say B because, well, I didn't really like her. She did have a heavy impact on his story for a while there.
Okay.
Moxie actually said that Veronica was good for him, so
Yeah.
B for sure. And
I do think
depending on how
between
things
B
go
and C.
upcoming, I think B is a solid starting point.
Okay.
Poor Veronica.
I personally am thinking A, and just as a warning, my reasoning is a spoiler from the last episode. So if you haven't watched the last episode,
Yeah, this whole episode is spoilers.
But anyway, in the documents that Quinn got, every single person in there was like kill on sight kind of thing, except for Veronica. She's the only one where, intel, this person has intel and we want to capture and find out what she knows. So I think Veronica has more of a part to play, like a bigger part to play in the future of that's just my theory. So because of that, I think it's an A.
Okay.
That's an interesting theory. I don't think I agree with it, but I like your theory.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the validation, Jess. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think
really
now
like
that Nadia is there, Veronica is just there.
I think Veronica's a
That's
B.
fair. Okay. Well, yeah. Somebody said C, and somebody said A, so we'll just split the difference and give B. All right. How about Kuniko? A lot of you didn't get to meet. I don't know if Checkers really got
I did. I didn't
You
get
gotta
to
meet
know
her,
but I got to meet her.
Yeah.
I have to go A because in fairly intrinsic, she was a flavor we don't often see. Like, her sense of humor was subtle but there, and every once in a while it would kick you in the butt. And that's not something we often see in the game. She was there for a long time, and her death and Frank's is like pretty impactful on the group as a whole.
Okay. A all day, says Newt. Trying to think of where I stand on this NPC. I did like her.
I liked her. I don't know that she was as impactful as Frank. And I don't know that I would put Frank at S tier. So,
true, but we can
Frank
arrange people in the A tier rank.
But Frank's going to be at A. Do I feel that Kuniko did as much as Frank did? And for me, I don't think so.
Okay. She gave advice to Wraith. She also did that one scene with Deeps that I thought was really solid. I loved that scene. So I'd say in between A and B as well. We can give
Let's
her.
put her an A.
Okay, we'll give her a low A. Okay, I guess we'll have to do Frank next then, since we're on it.
High A.
So where's Frank?
Definitely high A, if not low S, and I don't know where I sit with that.
A for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely not lower than A tier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll rate him higher than Kumiko.
I think he should
Higher
be
than
higher than
Streamline.
T1K. Or yeah.
Okay.
Like he should be top of the A list.
Over Streamline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Streamline was almost S.
So
Hi,
is
Jen.
Frank for me.
Okay.
We're rating our NPCs since we're down a race and a deeps today. Sorry, Chen.
Yes. Chad.
Yeah, this is where we've decided to rank people. So Giffy, Frank was the owner and bartender of Frank's Hovel, which is the bar that became a crater. And we started drinking there since like episode 2, and Frank consistently told us booth until we learned to sit in a booth so we could have a white noise generator. And he answered all our questions, and Frank has been there until that moment. Frank's death hit a lot of us real hard.
Yeah.
So he's kind of been the group's Gandalf.
I'd say Pons is more the Gandalf, but
Yeah.
but he's somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Maybe an Elrond.
All right.
I was gonna go with
Yeah.
Bombadil personally, but you know.
Yes, Pons isn't. Oh, the person on D.
Emily.
We don't have a picture, so I just pulled one off the internet. It's Emily and Joss together. They
In
got
one.
D tiered. And just so you are aware, we have no real criteria for this rating.
None whatsoever.
Yeah.
I actually want to point something out
It's
real
like
quick.
a whose line
about
is it
that.
anyway? Yeah.
We had no criteria, and Jess was really upset that we had no criteria, but she's sort of sneaking in the criteria of who is most impactful. And that's kind of what we've been rating on ever since.
I kind of
she's
figured
left
that would
one.
happen, and it's okay.
Well, I just wanted to. Point
That was
out.
my point. Is we start with no criteria and we build it as we go.
It works. Okay, next up is we're doing the Frank's Hovel gang, so we'll do we'll do Hal next.
I know games would say S tier. I know games would. So for games who's not here, I will put a vote for Hal for S. Otherwise, honestly, I feel like even though he had a very integral story moment, he's probably D. In all honesty.
I'd be willing to give him C, but that's like kind of like the highest I'd go.
Okay.
So Hal was a bartender who was there for a couple episodes. Wraith tried to hit on, failed miserably. And eventually got himself kicked out because he tried again and failed again. That Hal got a bouncer to kick him out of the thing. Yeah, and then the Tiger Claws came by looking for someone that we did technically take, and they shot Hal dead like in one go, and it kicked off this whole like fight, and that's
Wow.
but that was it. That was the extent of Hal.
I think the fact that Hal got Wraith kicked out deserves S tier.
you know, I like that. Also, hello Raiders, welcome in.
Hey, Raiders.
Thank you
How's
for
it
being
going,
here.
folks? Thanks. Who'd we get a raid from?
Dynamix?
Dynamix.
I don't know if that's how you pronounce your name. I'm
I
so
almost
sorry.
said Minx. Yes, sorry. But thank you for the raid. Welcome in. A lot of you are going to be lost unless you follow our show. We're rating NPCs really on hardly any criteria at all in our long-term campaign that we've been doing. Sorry, where did
We're
you
also
say?
doing a Q&A for Cyberpunk RED and our campaign, or just random questions, so feel free to ask.
Yes. Yes.
I would put Hal at D. Giffy makes a good point of getting Wraith kicked out of Frank's hovel is pretty epic, so maybe C. I will allow for C for that reasoning alone.
Okay.
I'll change my vote. I'll change my vote to C.
All right. C. How goes in the C tier? Okay, next up I wanted to do Devin, but I don't have the picture that I had for Devin. I'll make it real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, Devin's the one who wouldn't. He was the bartender who replaced. That's right. I was like, "Who's Devin?"
Yeah, it's
I
Hal's
have no clue.
replacement. He's Hal's
Devin
replacement.
was Hal's replacement, who wore the
Formal
refused to wear the
Hawaiian
bow
shirt.
tie. Yeah,
Which
he wore the
is-
formal Hawaiian shirt. Refused to wear the
I
bow
didn't say
tie.
formal.
refused
It's
to wear the uniform.
I said fancy, but you know, whatever.
You said formal.
I said fancy in the episode. Maybe I did say formal.
I don't know.
I don't
But
know.
he was the one who was serving the eyes when you and Deeps went into the bar.
Okay.
Hal got C tier. Jen.
Oh yes, Devin, aka not Hal, as Rafe constantly called him.
Yeah, not Hal.
I mean, yes, I met him, but I zero attachment, so I'd put him at D.
I think D is fair. He's a D tier NPC.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so next up is
T for Devin. Yes.
let's do swag next.
I consider swag an intrinsic NPC. So I put him at S.
Okay.
Yeah.
S tier NPC.
I
Okay.
guess swag has to be S for swag.
S for swag. I never thought I would see this. Swag gets an S tier.
I don't
Wow.
think he deserves S tier. He didn't even have cigars at his bar. He deserves A at best.
True. Yeah, what the fuck is with that?
Although, granted, thanks, Newt, who said S tier for burning Moxie's agent. Destroying her agent, he gets S tier.
Yep.
Mm.
Okay, so that's fair. All right, let's moving on to the next one. We can do. Let's do Stylin J. Johnson.
Meh.
She hasn't been chewing, at least from your perspective.
Yeah, I don't know her.
I know she's doing a lot in the background, but D.
D. Okay.
Yeah. Q&A question for you. Did she become a more important villain when I just developed this instant hatred for her?
Did she become a more important villain?
Yeah, did you decide
of
to...
your hatred for her?
Yeah,
Probably a little bit. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I'd say like, oh, they don't like her. Let's use her more. She should at least be a C. I agree with you.
I don't
Nick.
think so. I don't think she's up there with like Z and Tim. She's just kind of... She may go up by the end of everything.
She at least
but...
should be the highest D.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
All right. She can be the highest. D.
And Emily should be the lowest.
Yes.
No one likes
Always.
her.
She was annoying. But you know that was what was fun about her. I just want to say that no matter what this rating system is, I love all of these people. And I like to play all of them. Okay, next up is fun one, Jenkins.
Oh, Jenkins is S tier. Anybody who disagrees, I'm gonna have a fight.
I am all of them. These people, yeah. We're just rating my. I do have the pictures of the players here, but I felt like that was too.
We already
late to,
did
like,
Graham Chen. He's in
Grim is the
B.
second one in B.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
I
yeah,
honestly
Grim's
have
here.
to agree with S tier just because Jenkins is one, a really individual character, and two, very impactful on Giffy's storyline.
Yes. He now
Okay.
is my storyline.
I see for that I would put him at A because that's the same reasoning we gave for like everybody else.
True,
Yeah.
he hasn't
But I
been
love
super...
Jenkins. I fucking
This is my
love
point.
Jenkins.
He's one of
But
those.
I also love Wacko. So for me, he's at the same tier as Wacko. So I'm gonna put Wacko at A. I'm gonna put Jenkins at A.
I wanted to put Wacko in S for a reason.
Because of Jenkins?
No, because okay, Swag, Wacko, Jenkins, I all consider individual personalities that you don't see much of in anything else. And at this point, part of the city, like part of Blank's city, so intrinsically that if we made something, they would have to be there. Like if we did anything else with the setting, they would have to be there.
I think they'd be fun, but I don't think they would have to be. But I would say that for any character.
That's why I would put them in
Oh, hasn't
X.
come up yet.
Yeah. There's a reason
Sticking
I
to my
wanted
own
Wacko and
personal
S.
criteria of like story versus whatever, I would leave Jenkins at A. I would put him in the same as Wacko, but that's me. I would put him on
You're
S.
getting
and
outvoted
that's
here.
fine.
Everybody says Wacko. Everybody says Wacko is S. And well, actually, they haven't weighed in
No,
on.
Giffy said Wacko
Jenkins
should
yet.
be like C tier because he found him annoying. So
Yeah. But he also doesn't know Wacko like the rest of the, even our audience does. Okay. I think we move Wacko up to S. Jenkins. Nobody's weighed in outside of our group. We have an A and then two S's. I don't know where to rank him myself.
I would
I
put him
do
at the same
love
level
him,
as Wacko.
but
So
I
if you're
do
going to
have
put
to
Wacko at S,
agree.
I'm going to vote S.
What?
I put him at the same level as Wacko. So
Okay.
if you move Wacko, you have to move Jenkins.
Okay, Jenkins and Wacko are both S now. Okay, cool. What about, let's do some more villains here. We got Dracul.
Oh God. Yeah, he was a cool douche, like Newt says, and he was actually like really intimidating for me, like scary for me. As like my first, well, technically second mission, first day with the crew, suddenly Dracul. It was like, oh fuck me.
I mean, that's fair. Full disclosure.
I'm going to rank Dracul S.
I kind of have to agree.
I was into the JL entire vibe as a club. Oh, yeah.
It
It was a cool vibe as a club. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
the underground, not so cool.
No, the club was awesome, but
So for those of you who may not know, Dracul was biosculpted to look like a vampire. His bottom jaw opened up to the side, And his teeth had drills, and he could literally like attach to your face or your neck and bore into your skin. He was a rocker boy.
He was terrifying.
Who ran an XBD thing underground. Moxie watched quite a horrible BD from Jenny, where I
It was
believe
definitely
he
the
hooked
darkest
Ryan.
part of our campaign.
So, yeah.
So where do we rank this man?
Moxie and I both say S.
S? Okay.
Yeah.
A for asshat. Yeah, I think that he deserves an S for bad guys.
Moxie
Okay.
still has nightmares because of Dracul, so.
That's fair. He also had one of the coolest deaths. I think.
It was a really epic death.
It was. Okay, then we gotta rate his brother, Nosferatu.
He was arguably much worse.
He was much
But we had
creepier.
less interaction with him.
Mm-hmm.
I put him at B.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. See, the thing is that like, yes, Nosferatu is like way worse, but Dracul was cooler.
That's fair.
Like as a villain, he was pretty damn cool.
I like that would actually probably injure Nosferatu's pride, so even better.
Yep. Okay, B tier it is. All right, and then last from the JL crew, we got Voight. We should have maybe got past this part with the Jackal's Lantern, I don't think, if you're on season 4.
If you've met me, then you've gotten past it. But if you haven't met me, then no.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah, he is.
That's correct. He is still an unknown.
Yep.
Void.
Okay, give me a reminder on Voight because I'm trying to remember the difference between him and Void and having a really hard trouble.
Voight was the doctor in charge of implanting the BD units into captured victims and installing the fresh.
I thought that was Nosferatu. Shit.
No, Nosferatu was really just the network operator.
Okay.
He ran before you guys even
mind you,
left
he was
the cage.
He was the one who wanted Kaze as his bride.
Yes. Like
dark, creepy shit, but Voight was the doctor who did all the
Okay. Yeah.
texture.
Well,
I think he got arrested.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly.
He did.
I'd probably put him at a B because I mean he was fucking creepy. Don't get me wrong, but
I think for the impact that he left with what he did to Joss and Emily, I would say A. He's not as cool as Dracul, but he's not as flaky as Nos. So
yeah,
A.
Okay.
That's my.
I can agree
think
with
that's
that.
fair. Yeah.
Same for me, Chen. So.
Boy and Nos, you drew Nosferatu. I guess I don't have a Voight picture, so I just used the professor from Futurama because of the eyes.
Somewhere in dark corner of the novel. It is a Q&A. If you guys want to know, all you have to do is ask.
Yeah, just throw out your questions in here. We'll definitely. That was less scary.
Yeah,
that's fair. Chen, I'll have to ask you. Well, actually, he's never going to show up as a token, but
no, that's perfect. That's perfect for Voight.
Okay. Next up we've got we'll do Colt next. Where does Colt go in the ranking?
S.
S?
Yep.
New case says S.
Yeah,
As well.
S. I'm biased though.
That's fair. I
S.
think this is what it is about. A bias. Okay, I'll say S. She definitely deserves an S. And then I just have a picture for no, this was Spooky Cyberdog. That's why. Wait, you drew him? I missed the picture. Otherwise, I would have used it. Damn it. Oh well. I'll have to get it. I'm missing a lot of pictures. So the next up, I have the Scud Warriors being everybody else. Oz, Delilah, Guy, I guess. Maybe not Guy.
B.
B?
Mm. Yeah.
Okay. B seems fair. All right. Yeah, I think that's fair. They haven't really made much appearance. You mostly interact with Colt. I don't have a Rory picture. But he
I think
does.
Chen once posted a really good Rory like douchebag picture, but I don't know where it is or where to find it.
Maybe I can find it. I need to get all the pictures from you, Chen.
At least I think it was Chen. Someone posted a really good like
Oh,
Rory douchebag picture. Oh, I like that new Rory gets D for douche and drugged by Moxie.
Yeah.
Drug douche D.
hmm.
It was an actor from some movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Chen says.
Oh, it was? Okay. Oh, I have the picture here. I'll throw it up. Maybe.
Hey, Heroic. Don't worry about it. We're just bullshitting.
Hello.
But it's nice to see you.
We're doing a tier list of all the NPCs. Wait, why didn't this save?
And just a reminder, if you guys have any questions for us, silly, serious about the campaign, about not the campaign,
We are
that?
happy to answer them. She's not showing up. Oh, maybe I forgot to hit save. That's probably why. Oh no, I put it in. Damn it, I put it with Chinzia's art. Which definitely does not belong there.
Thanks, Velvet.
Here we go. Okay, we've got a Rory. Where does Rory go?
We didn't agree.
Oh, okay.
I,
D, you say?
Newt says D.
Okay. I think that's a fair.
I feel like he was as impactful as April, so C. But I do like D for drug douche, so.
Okay, so we'll put him at a high D.
all right, that's fair.
Awesome. That's good. All right. Next up, we have Minami.
A or B for me.
A, because of the help she's provided in going on a date with Deeps. Okay. I could see A.
We have, in my
Just a B.
experience, called on her multiple times. She is one of those characters I would expect to see in the setting, but not like intrinsic to it.
Fair. B, honestly, but maybe up a bit because of Deep's recent lore. Okay. A or
Yes,
B?
high B is where I'd go.
Okay.
I gotta say C because she screwed over Quinn, and that's just not cool. I don't like that laugh. That was not a. That was
Okay. We'll go A because she screwed over Quinn.
Wow. Wow.
You really should know better than to say these things, Giffy. You've known him the longest.
And
I
then
think I would have learned by now.
Yeah, right.
I don't have a picture for Mika, but she should probably go on here.
B.
B.
Yeah.
We'll use this pistol. B. Why B?
She's more important than Tim, not nearly as important as the people we have in A.
Kaze has
Therefore,
not come
B.
up to. You have a picture of Kaze?
I don't think so.
No. Okay, that's fair. All right. Kaze will be up next.
You're not gonna let the others vote on Mika. You just throw her in B like that. All right.
I mean, I don't know who else has really interacted with her.
Yeah, Chen says she has one for Kaze.
Oh, you do?
Posting in Discord. Or
Okay.
not,
can
maybe not
shoot
their
it-
art.
Shoot it over to me directly so I can find it. My DMs. And I'll put her in and we'll do her after this next one. I'll wait for that. A for Kaze because of the impact on Moxie. That's a fair one. I guess I won't wait. Let's just rate her and then I'll wait for the picture before I put it somewhere.
Yeah.
A?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to move Frank to S. Given who's in A tier now, I'd like to move Frank up to S. Because if he
Okay.
wasn't dead, he would for sure be a fucking staple.
Okay.
I
That's
will
fair.
give you that.
He can be low S, that's fine, but
Does she have a picture in artwork? Is that where I need to be looking?
that is a great photo. Yes, you do, but I will also DM it to you.
Dude. Oh my God. That's so fucked up. Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Chen.
People. I thought you meant like an... I didn't think you meant that, but that's hilarious and
that's what we're
also
doing now.
dark.
Yes.
All right, so A tier for Kaze. Jesus Christ. People are awful. She was through hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
What you
did.
linked did work. Okay. Kaze. also bridges the gap between Cass and the rest of the team. And she was that one win that helped push Moxie on. True. I don't have a good picture of
Wait,
Anya,
what?
but
She
that's
helped
another
push
one.
Moxie on? What? Toilet wolf.
You saved her.
I swear. This is the worst description for Kase is toilet wolf.
That is.
But you're not wrong. You're also not necessarily wrong.
True. Okay. So next up is we gotta do Rex.
S.
Yeah.
Giffy agrees.
If we're going by impactful, yeah, I think Rex is probably the most impactful character NPC on the group, like of all. So he deserves top spot.
What? That's
Definitely.
fair. S plus. Oh, jeez.
I mean,
Oh,
he's the one who got
really
Quinn
like-
to the rest of the group, and I mean that's been awesome.
So he's the
he
top
deserves
S.
S for that.
Okay. And then, although there's a billion NPCs and we could probably do this all day, the last one I have for us to do is the eyes.
I think with everyone else who is an S, I would have to argue that the eyes is low S.
He was only ever major. I don't know if he was only major to Moxie. I think
He wasn't. His effect rippled to a
the-
lot of places.
Yeah.
She's the only one who ever directly interacted with him, but
Yeah.
his ripple effect was felt by everyone.
Deeps and Checkers talked to him once. They just had
Yeah,
no
he
idea
did.
who he was.
That's true.
Because he goes out of his way to be a pain in the ass. That's why A. Not wrong. Also the reason we're kind of sort of still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly think he's probably the most impactful character.
No, Rex is way more impactful, but
I
I'm
disagree.
maybe biased.
So I would rate him at S, but I will defer to everybody else's judgment because obviously I have insight. Put him
Next to Swag. Behind the scenes,
All
he's
the
definitely an
NPCs,
S.
Cammy. Oh yeah. Oh, I guess we gotta do Cammy G.
I was gonna ask
We'll
you
do-
where Cammy was when we were done with this one.
Yeah, we'll do Cammy G after.
I
the
see.
guys.
I struggle with Cammy because as much as Cammy's an NPC, I also feel like that's Blank's PC.
Yeah.
Like even more than Rex. So it's always a struggle for me to where to put Cammy. Is she a PC or an NPC?
Yeah, but since she's mine, I feel like I don't mind rating her.
I mean, she has a character sheet, so she should count
Yeah,
as PC size.
But the reason I don't want to rate you all is like I don't want to do that with you guys. These are my characters. I'm fine with you rating them.
we can let chat rate player characters. I'm fine with that.
See, I don't want to make anybody feel bad. I'm fine feeling bad because I don't care.
You guys can rate Moxie. I have a thick skin. Go for it.
Yeah.
No, for
Which
eyes, I
was
would.
good.
For eyes, I would say he's S tier. What he has done, what he has puppeted throughout the series, has been huge.
Yeah.
And saving the gang is no small feat.
Where in S tier?
Next to Sway, between Swag and Pawns.
Okay. Is Cult in the correct spot? And this
No.
guy?
No.
Where does Colt belong?
Between Swag and Marco?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's probably what I'd say.
And Dracul?
Below Frank.
Okay.
I'm tempted to put Frank higher, but that's okay.
Cammy is a DMPC as much as Rex is. I agree with you. Well, I don't manage Rex like a character though, and I do for Cammy. Like I'll give her money and give her IP.
I think Rex became more of a DMPC when Foxy started dating him. That was a...
on the listener's end, she's still an NPC.
yourself.
Yeah, I agree with you. Where does Cammy go?
Cammy's a
Top
fan
S.
favorite. She has to be
Yeah,
right behind Rex.
she either has to be in front of Rex or behind Rex, but I don't know which one.
in front of Rex.
Okay, I will accept that from you guys.
I love that. Cammy goes next to Rex. All right. Cool. I'm good with that. I have other pictures here. All right. If you guys want to do your PCs, sure, we can do those. But I'm not going to do anybody who's not here.
I like that Newt
And if
said
you want to opt
as
out,
for
you
everybody
can.
except for Quinn because they don't know Quinn yet.
Okay. Since Jess said it, I'll put it. Where does Moxie go on the list? Was there an
I think
updated
Moxie
picture
should be
for
an
Moxie?
S. She's one of the most impactful PCs.
If we're talking about just the story impact stuff, Moxie belongs in spot number 1. Period.
Right. And Wraith, I think,
Right.
belongs S right behind her.
I'm not
Because
gonna
he drives
I'm
a
not
lot
gonna
of
do
story.
Yeah.
He's not here.
But we're only saying good things about him for once.
It's true.
We did spend quite a bit of
That's
time bashing him earlier, though.
Moxie's S between Cammy and Rex. Oh, okay. They all go next to Cammy, with the possible exception of Quinn, who clearly goes in S+.
You can separate the couple. It's not about putting couples together, guys.
Can be. It's whatever.
That's her sister. It's fine.
Okay. I would rate Quinn the same as Dave Wacko in terms of like epic importance.
He has to go between Wacko and Jenkins, though, because he has to be with Jenkins. Has to be next to Jenkins.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
I don't know. I
If we're
think
going to
Quinn
put
is
Moxie next
in
to Rex,
trouble.
Quinn has to be next to Jenkins.
Okay, that's fair. Also an S rank. I like our chart is so lopsided. The S is the highest, and then it goes
We
down.
can't help it if your NPCs are like alive to us and we love
I like
them.
that we've lost the douchebag tier.
Oh, true. I didn't. They're knocked off.
Oh no, that means Deeps needs to be next to Eminem.
Quinn is the PC Dave.
Oh, that's right. We don't have
speaking-
Mendez and
we
McKinley
have-
on there.
I know. I don't have a Mendez picture or a McKinley picture. We can just
I mean,
we could
yeah,
just
we're
say
not
where they
gonna-
belong.
Mendez would go S, I think. McKinley B, but I know James would argue that with me.
Yes, you would.
Rory is still a douche,
Hydrate.
yes.
Yes.
I don't have anything to drink
Oh.
up. Sorry.
Thank you for the hydrate.
You don't know how to spell whose name?
Me.
Oh, yeah. Val's got it there. Okay. S and B. I think that's fair. That's a fair assessment. Mendes is somewhat influential.
I think Quinn should go behind Jenkins. Not Jenkins definitely deserves a spot above Quinn.
No.
Nah.
No.
No. The thing is that without Quinn, Jenkins
have
wouldn't
Jenkins.
be like, even if we encountered him, he wouldn't be intrinsic because the whole point is he plays off of Quinn.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair. I just love Jenkins so much.
I mean, I absolutely do too. But if there wasn't the Jenkins and Quinn dynamic, Jenkins wouldn't be half as interesting.
That's fair. A lot of the fun of him is like him stumbling to react to the insane things that Quinn tells him. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does catch me off guard. I'm like, oh my goodness, how is this guy going to respond?
and he gets so exasperated with Quinn. I just love that.
It's great.
I just want to comment on this because we were commenting on it before. Giffy is who got this picture for us. Quinn is or Jenkins is goddamn hot, man. Jenkins is hot.
He is extremely handsome.
Extremely handsome, yeah.
Just start saying he has a what the fuck look. Okay, cool. I don't know if you want to be rated, checkers, so I didn't.
I'm not going to put any input in, but if you guys want to do it, go ahead.
Okay.
Well, Checkers is definitely S tier.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if
I
we're
think
keeping
that all
couples
the player
together, she
characters
needs
have
to
to
be
be.
with Colt.
Okay. That's fair.
And just behind Swag, where she's kind of got that knowledge of Swag from doing the movie, works out.
Wolf Dungren wasn't on the list. Probably deserves to be on the list. Does he actually? Maybe
He
not.
doesn't.
He doesn't.
He is brought up a lot.
He is mentioned.
As for
an
handout
extremely-
grenades,
S for handout grenades, yeah. Dolph would be the T for turtle.
Turtle.
Nice. All right, cool. I think that's all we've got for the for the characters of Shades of
we could
Scarlet.
keep going. It's
There are
yes,
so
we
many
could keep
NPCs.
I have
going.
so
Oh
many
my God.
NPCs. That is what fills the majority of my notes is just all of these goddamn and I'm probably missing like a bunch of them because I often have to make them up on the spot. Because I have no
we
idea.
can always
what
do a
players are
second
gonna
run
do.
at this if we need something another time.
Like Tim,
Yes.
good old Tim, who's on this list, was certainly somebody.
See?
Who,
I told you
Wasn't
they'd
sure.
want Tank. I still don't understand the gravity
Tank,
towards
I
Tank,
knew it.
but I told you Tank would be on the list.
you're right. Yep. All right. Tank. Fine. We'll do Tank.
I
We'll
don't
Tank.
know how many, but I know they're all because of Wraith.
No. Tank?
No. Newt said, how many NPCs have been created because the
Oh.
player asked, hey, what's their name?
I don't know.
I don't know how
Oh,
many,
that-
but they're all because of Wraith.
That might be 50-50 Wraith and me.
Yeah,
I yes, but I'm blaming him.
I like that. No, okay, take it. Yeah, yeah, we'll blame games. Realistically,
When in
probably
doubt, blame
50-50. But realistically, but yeah, I like that.
Excellent input. Oh, I did have a David. I forgot. Who is Wraith's old band manager?
Oh, Gage is actually is Gage lower than Gino because watching him fail
think-
has been really fun. Watching Wraith's reaction to Gage failing has been really fun.
Yeah.
There's a few in here we need to add. Got a picture of Brad Pitt for David. He's certainly not a Brad Pitt. We'll just say that right now. Okay, we got a few more. We got Tank. We'll do Tank. Where does Tank go, folks?
Tank is such a D.
He's
not. That's not where he's going to end up on the
Tank.
list, but Tank is a D.
I know who he is, but I've never met Tank.
I think only Moxie and Wraith have met Tank. Maybe.
I don't think I've even never heard of him.
That's fair.
See?
So I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's that important.
The audience loves Tank.
And Newt says I don't remember him, so
Except
D.
for, yeah.
Yeah, Chad has bias for Tank.
My only exposure to Tank was Moxie going to visit him at one point and me going, oh, I didn't know about that. And then like 2 episodes later, she started dating Rex. That is my only reference point for Tank.
Gage is damn near Nico level disappointment band wise. Oh, you know what I should have done is oh my god, I can't remember.
Nick is also D for douchebag.
Desiree and Angelina. But Tank, okay. Where do we got Tank in? D?
Okay, D, like dated is a very strong word.
Yeah.
Tank was a
Fooled
tool
around with.
that Moxie used like 3 times to scratch an itch. That's all Tank was.
That's fair.
Hey, Blake, can I ask you a question real quick about NPCs? I'm
Mhm.
wondering, what is the most difficult or memorable NPC you had to create on the fly because of something somebody did unexpectedly?
Well, let me look through my list here and see. I suppose it would be T1K. Because I wasn't expecting games really to go and try to find gangers to help them. He was trying to manipulate the gangers into fighting the NewSat security force.
Militech. He was trying to get the games to fight Militech.
Yeah. And they decided to try to rob him instead. So I think that would be the most memorable NPC, I suppose, that I had to make up on the fly.
And they shot Rico.
They shot Rico in the back. So yeah, that would be the most memorable that I made up on the fly.
And he stuck around too. That's awesome.
Sort of. Yeah. He's always been kind of a tertiary character.
He's just hung on a really
But
long
he does
time.
appear, a lot through the campaign.
Which really just means he hasn't died yet.
Yet, keyword.
Yeah.
I mean, he is in
We'll
prison.
see how this trial plays out. He's a Klingon. I mean, I've made up a lot of these people, I think. I'm trying to remember if I made up Dave Wacko on the spot or not. I think that I might have. So maybe he would be my most memorable one. I just can't remember. It was so long ago, and now they've become so integrated that maybe I did always have them made. I don't remember. And I switched note programs, so I can't really look back. So, I want to say that I made up Dave when partway through the Vigil concert. Because I don't think I really had any time to prepare for that.
Speaking as someone who's played with you for many, many years,
Mhm.
I think you did. I think you
think
made
I
him up
did.
on the spot.
I think so.
You are very good at that. That's
I'm okay. Tank goes D or C.
D, but Chen says he has to go higher than Rory.
Okay, so C minus.
No, D. D, just
Oh, I
higher
see.
than Rory.
Okay. And then what about David? This is
I'll give him a C
Wraith's
just
band
because
manager.
of the
Old band manager.
assassination attempt on
Cammy's
on Wraith.
cousin. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to pull everybody out of the woodworks.
See, I almost want to put him at B. Because he was around for quite a while. And then there was the assassination, the very, very, very shitty assassination attempt.
Mm-hmm.
So I would put him at a low B. I feel like he was more important than 8-Ball and Tim.
Okay, that's fair.
Not by a lot, either high C or low B.
Yeah, I mean, I more or less agree with you on that. He's just very, very generic.
He had some personality.
I loved David. I really loved David.
Maybe I just didn't ever see it because I
yeah.
only saw him after Desiree came along.
He was a struggling band manager.
Mm.
Yeah.
But he also went through like what Desiree goes through with Wraith, where she's like, oh my god, except David doesn't have the resources Desiree did, but it was the same level of, okay, buddy, sure.
Yeah.
But David lied to Moxie for Wraith, and that was huge.
Mm.
Successfully, too.
True. All right, cool. I'm going to end it here. We've done a lot of these. We could really go on all night. There's
we could.
a billion more NPCs we could rate. But this is a good stopping point for that. It's a good list. Oh shit! I accidentally fat fingered the posture check and hydrate. I'm sitting up pretty straight, man.
I was not. I was leaning.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
you
new
guys
acid
have?
question that just came in.
Okay.
If you were to start the game over, would the players pick the same roles?
I would guess no. I would guess that some would not play the same characters.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't, to be honest.
What would you play?
Fuck if I know. You remember how hard it was for me to make a character? Like,
yeah, I remember you didn't have it until it
months.
actually came up in game.
It took me months to pick Checkers, and as much as I love her, she does not have the usual things I enjoy. And so she's a lot of fun, but long term, I probably wouldn't have picked her if I'd realized that 2 years later we'd still be playing the same campaign, because Blank kept telling me when I joined that it would be over soon.
Yeah, episode 1 is an alternate reality, Chin. We were talking about that earlier. Episode 1, we didn't know we were going to turn this into our campaign.
It's a one-shot. Consequences don't matter. I distinctly remember saying that.
Bad way to think. Just kidding.
No, if we played a new Cyberpunk game, I would definitely pick a different role. I think I'd like to try Netrunner or Tech. No, I'd like to
so you'd play a different character?
Yeah, if we're starting the game over and I'm still playing Moxie, that's really hard. Because part of me feels like I should have stayed with Nomad rank 4 and then gone into media. But I needed her credibility where it was to make the impact she did in that story, and I don't know that I would have had the IP to do that. So that's hard to say.
Holmes still blew up, but it might not have if the characters were different. Like if Angus hadn't left the building, they wouldn't have had the clear to blow it up.
And Wraith did want to stay.
He did. We should have rated Jenny. Did any of you even meet Jenny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yes, you did.
I didn't interact with her. Deeps did.
But you did
Didn't
meet
meet
her
Jenny.
as the comatose chick that was just kind of wandering around the hallways.
True. The wings
Maybe.
of a butterfly. Yeah, absolutely. Game Cass. Yep. Rip.
By the way, Patient, to go back to your question from forever ago, where like Disney fairy tale character analog relationship, do you think your characters have? Moxie and Wraith have a Boo Sully relationship where Moxie is Sully and constantly chasing after Boo, which is from Monsters Inc. If you don't know, the little girl that runs through the door and ends up in the monsters world, and they have to try to make sure no monsters realize there's a human in Monsterland. That is the Moxie and Wraith dynamic.
That's fair.
That's
Yep.
a good one.
Yep.
And out with a bang. Quite literally. Wraith is Stitch.
A little bit. A little bit.
That is great.
Yeah. Which would make Moxie Lilo trying to contain Stitch. So in any dynamic, it's Moxie's always trying to rein in Wraith.
I don't know.
I feel
that
like Moxie is the older
Lilo.
sister,
Yeah, that's more accurate.
trying to rein in Lilo and Stitch.
And
so
Stitch.
Wraith and whoever
Deeps.
is
Yeah.
Deeps, yeah.
Or Wraith and Dave. Or Wraith and insert person here.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I have a question for Ada about
Okay.
Checkers. If Checkers hadn't been recruited, and I use the term recruited very loosely, but if Checkers hadn't been recruited by Gojira, what would she have done in Night City?
She probably would have ended up at the playground at Pacifica. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, play them by
Yeah.
play them by the sea.
Playland by the Sea. In Pacifica with old Sam, trying to scrape by a living. Because he lives in the abandoned, or he lives in the area of all of those abandoned rides when they went towards BD. And so it's like a playground for a tech, but none of it can function because they're not used anymore. And
That
that's
part of
her
it,
safe
yeah.
place.
That makes sense. And Quinn. What brought Quinn to Night City?
That's a good question. He has a very a very long backstory that's never come up or I've never actually told anybody about. But basically, he grew up in Texas, left Texas to go to New Jersey because he heard that like there was opportunity in New Jersey, which there wasn't. Turned out to be horrible. So he ended up hooking up with a nomad, with a really small nomad group as a bodyguard. He went with them, and they were going to Night City. so that's where he ended up, because that's where the Nomad group was going. They left, and he was actually planning on finding another group, Nomad group or merchants or somebody who was traveling, and getting bodyguard work to go move out of Night City. Before Rex called him up and told him. Um, so even though he's a solo, he does have a very nomadic lifestyle and doesn't like to stay in one place for very long. So this was just one stop on his world tour.
Very cool.
Very nice.
And then I guess for everybody, if Gojira manages to reclaim the Nook, what are your character's plans after that moment?
It's a great question. And one I need to take notes on.
That's not comforting.
No, it is something I was planning on asking.
How can I mess up those plans?
No. I mean, probably.
I have to say that Checker's plans are extremely contingent on when Colt gets back and what happens with her.
Like, in what way? Like, if Colt comes back and decides that they're moving out again?
Like,
Or
Colt and Checkers are something, but it is very new and uncertain, and Checkers has absolutely no idea what to do with it, and she's just kind of like, aside from everything that's going on with Gojira, it's like I can't make any decision until I figure out what the fuck this is.
does she know what she wants?
Oh God, no. It's Checkers.
Do you think Blake's going to give you that answer? You, Ada? Jess is asking Ada, do you think Blake is going to give you that answer?
No.
Why?
Huh? Oh, you'll give me an answer. Eventually.
Yeah.
But I mean, the whole thing is that Checkers has been in search of a place she belongs. And well, she likes Gojira. She isn't sure that's where she belongs. She's there for the ride because she promised she would be. She feels responsible. She wants to be. After that, no fucking clue.
So just to the point of the Nook and then unknown.
Things need to be settled, or she needs to feel like things are settled before she'll leave. If she leaves. If there's uncertainty about the whole, like, what's going on with Colt, then no, she probably won't leave.
But if Colt says, yeah, we'll be an item, what will Checkers do?
Well, it's going to take significantly more than, yeah, we'll be an item.
Like roses or something?
Like...
Connection. I get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Legit connection. And I mean, they have some, yes, of course, but it's all very new and weird, and Checkers is not used to it at all, and Colt has been the aggressor this whole time. And Checkers has zero idea how to react to that, and she's very uncertain. And so it's just all this, like, anxiety, because that's what Checkers is walking anxiety.
Fair enough. What about Quinn?
That's a really good question. the whole reason Quinn is with this group is because he has a soft spot for lost causes, and that's kind of what he sees this group like their mission. He feels like it's a lost cause that's most likely going to end up in one or at least one person dying, if not everybody dying. And so he wants, like, his goal now is to make sure that nobody dies. And so he feels very protective of the group. As
Even with the dossiers he just got?
yeah,
Cool.
yes, that kind of throws a he went to Rex, so again, spoiler for the last episode. He went to Rex really, really looking for a reason to trust the group because he really wants to trust the group. And I think he let Rex persuade him pretty quickly because that's what he wanted. He was nervous and he was kind of freaking out, didn't know what to do. You know, that military side of his brain was like, okay, I've got to protect all angles, and if you know, I'm getting new information, so I've got to figure out who the enemy is and who I need to, you know, defend and who I need to attack. So he went into the meeting thinking that that the assistant chief was the one that was betraying him and that he's the one he needed to look out for, but he wanted confirmation from Rex. So basically, he's going to stick around as long as the group needs him, as long as they are. So as soon as, you know, we recapture the Nook, there's one of two possible ways I can see him going. I can see him, one, either leaving to find his next lost cause, to find his next, you know, thing to fight for, or two, I could also see him helping Rex to police the Nook. If Rex, you know, kind of has a spot for him and says, you know, hey, I really need you to help make sure this doesn't happen again, I could see Quinn sticking around to be that protector for the entire Nook.
That's really cool.
That is cool.
I was told I also had to answer this question. Apparently. It was like, Moxie needs to answer that as well. After they reclaim the Nook, Moxie's gonna go after the next of the three. Probably Newsat, because she can't figure out the fuck Continental Brands is providing other than just a safe, like, storehouse right now. So there's three big names. She's gonna cut the head off one. Hope two don't grow in its place, and then go after the other two. All while trying to keep the Nook safe, which conflicts very hard. So we'll see how that goes.
And would be Batman if someone would just ask him.
He's Batman that kills.
Nice.
So in answer to your question, Newt, does Quinn feel at home? He
Thank you.
doesn't really feel at home. He doesn't really feel like he's part of the group. He's part of the family. He feels like he's separate from them, but he desperately wants to. He never had a family. He never even had a home. He doesn't know what that feels like. So no, he doesn't feel at home. You know, he just doesn't feel like he's part of the group even.
That's fair. He hasn't been around them for as long as they've been around each other. So.
Chen also asked if anyone had any idea on who got eyes.
I do.
Oh, yeah, who? Please share.
Your mom.
She's dead. But if she did,
Or is she?
rifle,
Dun,
she would have killed him with a sniper rifle.
Oh man, we're already fighting vampires. Don't bring zombies into the mix now. Come on.
Oh god, yeah, we don't need that.
No, you guys should answer this, not me, clearly.
You know, part of me is like, is that true? And I'm like, nah, there's no way Moxie's mom would be out there and not tell her daughter she's alive. No fucking way.
Unless she was chipped and couldn't, being mind controlled not to tell her.
possible, but doubtful.
Checker's assumption is that would be the same people who are coming after them. Essentially, it would be like NewSat or possibly Arasaka. Right? Am I saying the wrong name?
Oh, that's the right name.
Sorry. Corp names is where I have issues remembering the difference between Cyberpunk and Shadowrun.
Yeah, Moxie's fairly certain it was Arasaka / NewSat, but she doesn't know how or specifically why. Nor do we have confirmation if he's dead or just captured.
Yep.
I really appreciate these questions about Quinn because I feel like he's a lot deeper character than I get to portray always in session. So
I did add some things about his backstory during the psych eval or background eval.
Yeah,
something.
I know, but
very light.
But I'm talking about like emotionally. He's more emotionally and
yeah, I get you.
In depth than I get to play him. So
it's always one of those hard things because I know Moxie has asked certain characters at certain points about their backstory, but because they haven't been around long, it's always met with like uncertainty and they've been closed off. Yeah. So it's like, okay.
Oh yeah, and Quinn's not really going to talk much about himself. He doesn't.
He's
so
not that guy.
Yeah.
Moments that surprised. Greg's bike suddenly fucking being at some throwaway meeting that I thought would be a throwaway meeting. That was Jess was not expecting that.
That was pretty epic.
That fucking threw me.
I loved adding that little detail. I did debate whether I should do it or not, but I decided it was too good to pass up.
It was a good call. I thought it was epic.
Hey,
Shall we? I think we should let the audience maybe know that you didn't realize who Greg was when you chose Greg, because that was great.
I didn't realize that it was your brother, yeah. I knew that her brother's name was Gregory, and I just did not put the two things together from the backstory as I was designing, so that was my bad.
But it made it so much more impactful that
it made it so good.
Greg.
I'm actually quite happy with that decision. I did want to choose the more important one of the two in that story.
He was definitely more important.
Yeah. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah. How painful does it get when you have this event plotted out for the team and they take a whole episode planning? Not painful at all. I like when they plan. How painful is it for you guys as an audience?
Yeah.
When they do that? I hope it's not too bad. I enjoy it because it gives me a moment to just watch what's going on and plan. Because that's
how can I counter this?
Nice. It's not really that. It's more like, how can I make this interesting?
Yeah.
So I don't mind when they plan because it gives, like I said, it gives me an opportunity to think through how to implement those parts of the story more seamlessly. And gives me a chance to sit back and not talk for the entire episode for once. So, yeah, it's good.
Hey, it looks like Future Man came to join us.
I was
Yeah.
going to ask that question about surprising things in the story for all of y'all. Boxy obviously answered one.
That was one of them. Yeah, I'm sure there's more.
The episodes before taking on 8-Ball's warehouse, not the initial setup, but more after they started to realize something was going down, that part was a bit painful. Yeah, I agree with you. That did drag a little bit. But it's important generally for them to have a plan that they feel more confident about while going into a situation. And because I do tend to throw in different twists and hooks, they have to adjust for those, and that requires either replanning or adjusting their plan. So I can understand.
And I will say for note, Blank's combats tend to be more deadly than I think is intended in Cyberpunk RED. I believe I have heard them say, for quite a few people, including James and JB, it shouldn't take more than 3 to 5 rounds. I don't believe we have ever had maybe one combat from the failed assassination attempt that lasted between 3 and 5 rounds.
No.
So given Blank's complexity of how he makes an encounter, and that it is likely going to be deadly no matter how simple, in quotes, it seems.
You've walked through a few.
When?
I can name 2, the assassins.
Okay, well, yeah, the assassins were supposed to be really bad.
And then the second one was when the guys were going to collect Drew. When we had Pingy as a guest star.
Yeah.
And she got introduced. You guys walked through those guys too. But generally that
3 where Wraith lost his sword?
But that was just a bad roll. That wasn't
that was a tarot, actually.
Yeah. You also didn't do too poorly at the scene with Void. And the Maelstrom. I don't think any significant damage was taken by your team. But generally that is... Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Generally that is true. I tend to run combats a lot more deadly, but less frequent. In the at least the Cyberpunk core book, it kind of gives you an ideal structure for how a session should go. It's scene, combat, or resolution or whatever. And I don't follow that at all. Clearly. So my combats are less frequent but more deadly generally.
You know what battle I felt was harder than it should have been? The sewer rat battle. I feel like that should have been easier than it was.
You didn't get significantly hurt.
No. But I feel like killing rats should be even bigger.
One hit?
That was the point.
They're
They
cyber
weren't
rats.
rats.
They're cyber rats. But maybe, I guess. You did kill them pretty quickly though when you actually hit.
Yeah. That's the thing, they were just so hard to hit. And they actually did have quite a bit of health.
They did.
It took 3 or 4 hits for most of them.
I think they had 15 health. Just so we're clear.
It felt like a lot in the middle of it.
Yeah.
No, I will say
because we couldn't do much damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Melee weapons, guys. Melee weapons. Ignore half armor.
Yeah.
Also auto fire, because Blank has borked auto fire where it hurts a lot more than it should. So auto fire for those of you who can use
Auto
it.
fire is so good.
There is the flash of luck mechanic that has been introduced recently within this last season. That we haven't used that may help speed up our planning sessions. Because that's the whole reason behind it.
Wait, I'm sorry,
We'll
what?
see. Flash of luck.
Oh, what is that? I don't know.
It's a mechanic that was introduced with Hope Reborn,
I haven't read that
where
one.
you can spend. It's got a chart for like how much luck you spend and how much money you have to spend to create a scene that happened before the current scene you're in to obtain information, an item, or whatever. To help remove that, we need to plan for everything stage. So if we didn't have a grapple gun, if Quinn didn't have a grapple gun when we were in the hot zone, we could have spent, I think it's 2 luck points for an item that's like $100 or less. Had to spend the $100. Say, oh yeah, I had this moment where Moxie wanted to get a grapple gun, and I went here, and you have that scene, and now I have a grapple gun. So long as the GM approves it. I think it's like 8 luck or something if you want $1,000 item or more, which I think nobody in the party has. But it's a good way of just kind of trying to eliminate the I have to plan for everything stage while still keeping a cost. And there's a rule. If there's like still a skill check, you still have to make that skill check. And if you don't succeed, you still spend that luck, I believe.
I'll have to look
But
through
not
it.
the money.
At the moment, I'm not sure how I feel because I generally do like the planning stage where you guys try to make the pieces fit together. But I do see value in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I gotta
at the
say, I'm
GM's
not a
discretion.
huge fan of that rule. Like, I think you should, go with what you got and try to make the best. I mean, that's part of the fun is trying to figure out how to figure your way through any situation with what you've got. So,
On one hand, yes. On the other hand, because you can't plan for every small detail, but it's something your
And you're
character
bound
would
to
have done,
forget
but
something.
you
Yeah.
player fucked up. I like
That's
that. I mean, even as a recent example, when Wraith was like, "Oh yeah, I totally looked up this contact information on the business in the car," he didn't. But
okay.
for like 2 points of luck in a library search roll, yeah, I'd make him burn 2 points of luck to say he did that in the background if he wanted to. Absolutely. Does it change what he's going to walk into? No, but it does have a cost. And then he doesn't have that luck in the scene. So, for small things, not obviously for something that's majorly going to impact what's going on, I wouldn't allow it. But for certain other things, yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
you turned me around. That makes a lot of sense. I should learn not to argue with Jess.
No, I do agree with your point though. Like if it's something that would be, battle breaking to the scene, as a GM, I wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
But if it's like, oh no, I knew we were going up against the cyborg because we talked about the cyborg, and I meant to get armor piercing rounds and I forgot to buy them, allowing that as a flashback, yes.
Yeah.
Or if checkers for somehow we all forgot because in the heat of the moment we forgot to actually set her traps in front of the car lot. But that was something we had discussed like 3 episodes, and she took the time and she built, and just in that moment we forgot to actually do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that's fair.
I mean, I would probably just allow that without the actual luck cost, but that's me.
I think
Yeah.
part of me is fighting it because I have very simulationist tendencies in my GM style. So I don't know. I'm somewhat attached to the getting the details right before going in. But no, I see your points.
Yeah, I see how it could be overused though, if
Yeah.
not careful.
Yeah, well, I'll read the thing at least. I need to read that book. I think that's maybe one of the only books I don't own. A physical copy.
It's really good. I highly recommend.
which is weird. I guess I thought it was just a campaign or something.
It is a campaign book, but Flash of Luck is really cool.
I didn't realize it implemented new rules. Yeah, I'll definitely.
It did. It implemented a new rule.
That
Night
was
City
one-
Sofa talked about it in the first review of Hope Reborn.
Nice. I don't think I was there. Yeah, the rest of y'all didn't answer the like surprising story events. Checkers, Quinn.
Yeah, because there was a tangent and I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh.
But on that note, I can't think of anything at the moment.
That's fair.
Because the one thing that should have been a huge surprise was not.
What was it?
Angus being brainwashed. And it was not a surprise because you talk at full volume in the other room about it with him.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
When Oren and I get together, we are loud people.
Yes, you are. I was upstairs. You were in the basement.
But
I
you
miss
kind
that
of got to
guy.
match Orange volume when you're talking to him, and he's a very loud guy.
I get it. The thing is that when you're talking about surprising things right now, that is all that's popping into my head because I am tired, honestly.
Yeah,
My brain is fried, so.
I get you. I'm getting there too. What about you, Quinn?
The thing that surprised me the most in an anticlimactic sort of way was when Wraith was in that meat restaurant with his sister. I think it was the meat restaurant.
Yes.
And the tiger claws showed up, and then they did nothing.
Yeah.
That really shocked me. I expected them to start shit, and they just did nothing. So that really shocked me.
I liked that.
Can you tell us why they didn't do anything?
No.
Okay. Sometimes we've gone past a point where I feel like it's safe to talk about because it's not going to change anything.
It might
Sometimes
be.
you can't. So
It was just an
ask.
intimidation factor. Hey, we know where you are.
But see, also with Blank, something that happened a long time ago can suddenly crop up without any warning.
Oh, 100%.
So we might find out to our detriment later why they didn't attack then.
Yeah. Well, I just told you.
Speaking of story. Oh, does Quinn use handguns, by the way?
Yes, he does have a handgun. It's not his favorite weapon, but he does have a handgun. In a hidden holster, actually.
Nice.
That twist Moxie ending, Angus hit hard. Yeah, that was rough. It was a good scene. All right, folks. I think we've been.
No, wait. I had questions for you. Hang on.
Okay.
I want no answers.
All right, go ahead.
Can we finally know what was on the BD that Swag gave to Wraith?
Oh, fuck.
Because the answer in every other Q&A is no, and I feel like that's never gonna come back. But I would really like to know what was on that BD.
I'm trying to remember it. That might have been. That's so old that it might have been in my old notes. Jeez, I don't know, dude. It was one of his movies, right?
I have no idea. He gave it to Wraith and was like, "You should check this out," and then Wraith promptly left it on the table and did not look at it.
It was one of his movies.
Okay.
That's all I remember. I don't remember what movie it was. I had. It might have been the early idea for the tortoise and the hair trigger, which I reused later. I think that might have been what it was.
Interesting. I always wondered if it was like a thing with Cammy, because it was after he had made that comment about Cammy, so I was curious. The movie makes sense. That makes more sense for swag.
Oh no, now I remember.
What was it?
It was involving Cammy. I don't know if I want to talk about it. What if it comes up?
All right, I'm gonna make a note here that it did involve Cammy, in case you forget again. And
I'm
I'll
gonna
ask
write
you
it
at the
down
end
in
of.
my notes as something that I need to. It's not in my notes anymore, but I do remember now what it was. What's this character's name?
Okay. Next lore question. I don't know if we'll get an answer to this. What happened to Ray's motorcycle when he left it at the lot near Jackal's lantern?
I guess we won't find that out either. But it gets stolen by a biker gang. And I was gonna have a scene of you guys trying to get it back. But the bikers are using it to sell because they're not like a biker gang like leathers and motorcycles. It's like a sweat resistant jumpsuits and bicycles. And they were going to sell the motorcycle so they could get free repairs on their bicycles. It was going to be ridiculous. It's going to be a ridiculous part of the story.
That would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious if it was still there. But no.
It would be hilarious if it was still there. What did Cammy do or say to Rex to get him to join on the Lantern rescue mission?
New case. So many NPCs. So many NPCs have just not shown up. I have profiles for so many fucking NPCs that just won't show up. Anyway, sorry, go ahead, Moxie. What'd you say, Jess?
What did Cammy do / say to Rex to get him to join on the Lantern rescue mission?
Oh. I feel like that's an end of the campaign wrap-up question.
Okay, that's fine. How fast did Streamline see us? Was it right away or did any of our stealth rolls actually work?
How fast was what? What?
Did Streamline see us when we were breaking into his house? Was it immediately or did some of our stealth rolls work?
No, he was he was waiting for you guys.
Was it possible? You never know.
Well, when his camera starts turning off, yeah, he's gonna know you, and you weren't exactly nondescript at the gate.
We were not nondescript at the gate. You were right.
Yeah.
In the Neutronic Solutions Lab, this is a throwaway, doesn't really matter, but in the Neutronic Solutions Lab, there were newer bodies as opposed to ones that had been there for like quite a while. Were they the bodies of the scavengers who warned us the place was haunted?
Yeah, that's correct.
Did Bilbo's Maelstrom gang get away, or were they killed by RCL?
I don't know. I think that we should find out.
How much of the synth that Wacko takes is actually clean, and does he notice a difference when it's not?
What do you mean by clean? Like not cut with other things?
Yeah, like not cut with other things. That's exactly what I mean.
Don't think it matters to him.
Doesn't notice. All right, that's a very wacko response.
He'll notice if the high's not good enough.
That tracks.
Salsa and sugar. Yeah. See, he would notice that one. Well, maybe. I guess it depends on how hyper he gets.
And finally, my last question for you: were the casualties of the Nook rolled or predetermined?
Determined on the spot, really. Going through the list of people in the Nook, I'm like, this one's dead, this one's not.
Oh, that's like a real Grim Reaper Hand of Fate kind of thing going on.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I did what felt right.
How many people ended up dying? I don't even know. The whole list
Yes.
of people who died.
I think 10 or 11. Of people you knew, I can't remember exactly the number. I think I said this in the episode, but of people you knew, that was Kuniko, Frank, Razor and Blades, Delaware. I think that might be all that you knew. So that's five right there, and then 5 others. I think it was 10. I could be wrong, but it was a few.
I have no more lore questions
Okay.
for now. The other ones I have, I know you won't answer. So
Ask it. I'm curious what it is.
oh god. Hang on. Because I like cut a bunch out because I was like, he won't answer this. He won't answer this.
Oh.
Let's
Possible.
see. Oh, I have one for Wraith, but he's not here. Why didn't Maeda's key work on the bullet, and would it have if we didn't get caught at Nail Me?
Wait, why didn't who work on the bullet?
Oh, that's the only one I took out. Spooky Maeda's key
Oh.
work on the bullet, and would it have if we hadn't been caught
Yeah.
at Nail Me?
I'm not going to answer that one. You're right.
Yeah, see? I know you wouldn't.
Yeah, that one is cool.
You'll have to find out.
It's a
You'll have to
cool
wait and
one.
see.
It's a good question. All right, I love you all, but I think we're gonna wrap up now. We'll see
Thanks for hanging
you
out.
not next week, hopefully the week after. We'll see. But keep chatting with us, I guess, in Discord. And check out my blog if you haven't. Talks about lots of stuff. I should be posting more of those, hopefully. We'll see. But love y'all. Have a good night. Talk next time.